Hello, my name is Diana Isaacs. I'm a clinical pharmacist and a diabetes care and education specialist at the Cleveland Clinic Diabetes Center. And what I want to talk to you about today is related to diabetes technology and specifically about insulin delivery. So I find there's a lot of misconceptions about insulin delivery. So for starters, every person with type 1 diabetes is going to need insulin, right? They're going to need insulin all the time for meals, as a background insulin. But also many people with type 2 diabetes also need insulin. The longer a person has had diabetes, the more likely that their body is going to need some external insulin to meet the demands and to keep their blood sugar regulated and in range. So very common that people need insulin. And also over time, it's very common that people go from maybe starting off with a long-acting insulin to then adding insulin injections at meal times and maybe starting with one. And over time, it may increase to more than one meal or with all of the meals and with all of the meals and all of the snacks. There is nothing wrong with that at all. There's many ways that insulin can be given. And I find, sadly, that most people don't know about all of the ways. Most people are just given kind of the option of either a vial and syringe, and more commonly now, just traditional insulin pens with, the needles. And those are great. They work very well. They're very accurate dosing, very precise dosing, but it's not always the most convenient to be giving yourself insulin and bringing your pen with you everywhere. Plus, it can be challenging trying to figure out what dose is needed, right? So that's where we have multiple options. And I want to share a few of them with you today. So for starters, we have something called smart insulin pens. And there are two on the market right now. There's one called the InPen, and there's one called Bigfoot Unity. And the way that these work is actually, this is connected to a mobile app that would be on your smartphone. And it's a reusable pen that actually uses cartridges. So I don't know if you can tell in here, but there's actually a cartridge in here that gets switched out every time you finish using it up. It holds 300 units, just like a regular insulin pen. But the neat thing about this is it actually pairs up with the mobile app where it can help you determine how much insulin to actually take. So for example, whether you're using a carbohydrate ratio or whether you're just estimating, maybe with a large meal, you take a certain number of units, with a medium, a little less, and a small, less than that. Or some people are on set doses. Many people have what we call a correction factor, where if their blood sugar is above a certain target, they add additional insulin. And that could be really hard to remember. Many of my patients will put up like the scale on the refrigerator, but if they're not home and in front of the refrigerator, that can be challenging. And it's just, I don't know, it ends up being a lot of math. And so these devices actually can help you with those calculations. But in addition to that, they also record the doses. So that means you can meet with your healthcare team and go over the data and figure out, is that number, is that dose really working, or should we actually adjust it? And from my end, I love it because otherwise, people have a hard time remembering what they did or if they missed a dose and stuff like that. And here, it records everything through both of these devices. This one works a little bit differently in that this one is actually a cap that goes onto, this is a demo, but it goes onto a regular disposable insulin pen, and it will advise you how much insulin to take. And every time the cap comes off of it, it records that a dose was taken. So both are great, and both can actually link up with continuous glucose monitors. The InPen pairs up with the Guardian Connect, as well as Dexcom G6, and Bigfoot Unity can pair up with the Libre 2. So those are some more sophisticated kind of insulin pen options. But we also have wearable insulin. And on the kind of simpler end of things, we have two called the Vigo and Secure Simplicity. Simplicity is a newer device. It's just like a little thing that you wear. You fill it up. It can hold up to 200 units of insulin. It can be worn, on the stomach, on the, back of the arm, places where you would give yourself insulin. But you click both sides, and that delivers 2 units of insulin. And so if your dose, at meals was 10 units, you would, go ahead and click it 5 times, and that would give the dose. So this doesn't keep track of the doses. It won't record it, but it makes it easier to give. So instead of you having to carry around your your pen and your needles and all your supplies. It's on you. You're wearing it. So all you have to do is, click both sides. So that makes it a lot easier. And V-Go is very, very similar. The big difference between the two is this holds a little bit more insulin, and this still requires you to take a long-acting insulin. The V-Go actually includes some kind of background insulin, depending on your dose. It can include 20, 30, or 40 units in the background. And then each time that you click this, you actually also get 2-unit increments, and you can do up to 36 units per day. And this needs to be changed out every day. This needs to be changed out every 3 days. Now, the last thing I want to talk about are what we would consider to be insulin pumps. And I find there's a lot of misconceptions about insulin pumps. People think that they're only for people with type 1 diabetes, or I hear, unfortunately, people say sometimes, oh, it's just for the people with the bad diabetes. And that is not true. First of all, there's no such thing as bad diabetes. And second of all, anyone who needs insulin, this is just another way to give insulin. So it's not good or bad. In fact, it's really a lot more convenient. It takes the features that we just talked about with those smart pens, but applies it to a pump. And the first one I just want to show you real fast is this is what an Omnipod looks like. And it's actually what you could consider to be like a pod pump, where, again, it can go on the back of your arm, could go on your stomach, your legs, but it holds 200 units of insulin. And this is a smart device, meaning it will help you calculate how much insulin to take. It will record it and everything. And it also has background insulin that you can set and adjust those rates. It is controlled by something called the PDM, which this is an older version of it, but they have a newer one that's, more like a smartphone. And that's what you would use to control how much insulin. So this is all tubeless, which is really nice. And then there's 2 other ones on the market. There's the Medtronic version. This is just a demo. And then there's also Tandem. And I don't have enough time to go into all the details with these. This is a touch screen. This one's not. And both of them, you can kind of see there's tubing here. So both of them would be connected to the body in some place, like the stomach, the buttocks, the arms, and then it would be connected here. And many people have like a belt, they'll wear it on their belt or they'll put it in their pocket. But this is what's used to control insulin delivery, and it records everything. And it's really a lot more convenient in many ways than pulling out a vial and syringe and pulling out a pen and a needle. And generally these need to be changed every 3 days. So hopefully that provides kind of a nice overview of the different insulin delivery options. This is, continues to expand. The technology keeps getting better and better. I always say, if you have to have diabetes, this is the best time ever to have it because we have so many options. So I hope this helps, and have a wonderful day.